And we're live, man. What up? I appreciate you if you're tuning in. If you don't know me, my name is Trey, you guys, and I'm really trying to give y'all the gems. What I do on this channel is I do a lot of reaction, I do a lot of commentary, and also just give you guys a lot of real stuff, give you some life hacks and stuff like that. And so today, I'm not going to be here long. I'm going to keep it very brief. I'm going to keep it very quick. But basically, I'm just going to update you guys on what's going on. And then I'm also going to read a chapter of this book. I'm going to start doing more lives because I think this is really good. And I want to start connecting with you guys. And I just want to start helping out a lot more. I know there are so many things that people could be doing with their time. And so if you're watching me, I want this to be valuable. And I want you to get something from it. And so I read a lot. And so I'm going to start taking you guys on a journey too. So by the end of every live that I do, I'm going to start reading a chapter out of a book that I'm reading, whatever. And I think that'll be good. So what's going on, man? Listen, I'm actually going to start opening up Zoom. So if in case people want to talk or anything like that, I welcome it. I know it says Trey Senpai down below on this Twitch, but I'm not going to really be on Twitch anymore for free. I'm going to start doing streaming on here, you guys. So, Will Smith and Chris Rock. I'm not even gonna really talk about that because I'm over it. I'm really over it, man. I think Will Smith was fucking wild, and then I'm seeing stuff that was staged, so I'm not even gonna talk about that. What's going on in the manosphere? Yes, I know I made a couple videos about that, you guys. I think it's very I think at the end of the day, there's a glass ceiling that people were tired of being pigeonholed. Yes, I'm talking about mediocre tutorial reviews. Yes, I'm talking about O'Shea Duke Jackson. I think that these guys are starting to understand that there's a glass ceiling that comes with the content they make. Mediocre tutorial reviews lost a sponsorship from a pharmaceutical company because of a woman calling them and then saying that he's just saying misogynistic stuff. So he lost that sponsorship. It's money, you guys. It's really money. But I wish that they would just say, you guys, I'm expanding my market. I'm expanding the content. I know I started off doing red pill, manosphere type of stuff. I just wish they would just say that, you guys. Like, at the end of the day, it's all really about money. Let's see. I'm still on my medication. 3 weeks. It'll be either 3 or 4 weeks this Friday. And, I'm doing pretty good. I'm also really, really getting into the gym, you guys. So, 4 weeks from now, a month or 2 months from now, I'm gonna look very different, you guys. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that. I'm having a lot of you guys reach out to me on my Instagram, and I truly appreciate that. People are really reaching out to me regarding the PE, the penis enhancement, the penis enlargement, you guys. I know it's a little goofy. I'm not even gonna front with y'all. I was a bit embarrassed. I'm not gonna lie. I had a panic attack, right? I was in the shower. The reason why I had a panic attack was because I was like, man, when I really start blowing up, people are going to really recognize me from this penis stuff, and so it's kind of cringe a little bit. It's a little iffy, but I gotta tell you, man, it feels so good when men are really reaching out to me on Instagram and telling me like they truly appreciate what I've been talking about and what I've been doing. So I am gonna say this one thing real quick. There's not a lot of support for men out there. There's not a lot of support for the guys out there, especially when it comes to helping men out. I know with these channels and stuff like that, they just really talk about women and stuff like that. I'm really trying to give you guys some true things you can do. And this penis enhancement shit is real. It is so real. I'm going to tell you one thing that happened, man. I'm able to do some different positions, man, and it's crazy. And we should stop making it seem so weird to be talking about sex when it comes to men. A lot of people talk about, like, when it comes to men, like, your sex, your dick size, it can never change. And that's so not true. I want men to start having way more confidence in themselves. I want men to start living the life they deserve. Because in Ukraine, what was it? Any man 18 to like 45 or 65 or something like that was forced to enlist into the army to fight for Ukraine. F that, man. You're practically gonna die. Like, it's almost guaranteed you're gonna die when you're going into a war. And so it's like, as a man, you truly deserve to live the best life that you can. And so that's what I'm here for. Also, man, I bought my real estate course. I'm gonna go get my real estate license, and I'm not gonna be a real estate agent. What I'm doing is I'm getting the education to get into real estate. Of course, I know there are people out here that do wholesaling, and of course you can get education outside of the real estate licensing and things like that. But I want to do it the legit way. Plus, I don't want to have the MLS be gate kept by other people. I want to have MLS access for myself whenever I want to. I don't want to have to be at the behest of some other person. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that it's gonna be good for myself anyways to just have that education. I already did loans for 2 years, so I understand what it takes to get loans. I understand the types of loans. I understand the debt to income ratio, all of those things. So that's good. I would love to tell you guys a little bit more about that, but obviously I'm gonna do what the people want. I'm gonna do what the people like, and then this other information is obviously going to be I'm gonna start putting it in areas that you're gonna have to start really demanding for, because at the end of the day, I gotta grow. I want to bring more people to the space, but I'm still gonna sprinkle some gems here and there. It's about $1,000, so I dropped it. I'm gonna start getting my education done. Hopefully within the next 2-3 months, I will actually take my real estate exam, and I'm gonna get my license. So that's good. It's great news on my part. And once again, man, if you are watching this and you reached out to me on Instagram, I want you to just pat yourself on the back, man, and really, really take this life and really put it into your hands. You are absolutely doing that, and this will not, there will never be any regrets for doing what you're doing right now. And I commend you for doing that. Yeah. And so with that being said, man, Ank's Vision, thank you so much, man. We're gonna read a chapter here. I'm gonna start off from where I'm at real quick, you guys. The one thing. I'm on chapter 11, and so at the end of my live streams, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to read a chapter a day, so that I know a lot of you guys don't like to read, so I want to bring you guys on a journey with me. I love to read, and this book is absolutely amazing, you guys. And so we got this is actually a short chapter, so I'm going to go ahead and do this for you guys real quick, okay? So, got chapter 11, The Success Habit. You know about habits. They can be hard to break and hard to create, but we are unknowingly acquiring new ones all the time. When we start and continue a way of thinking or a way of acting over a long enough period, we've created a new habit. The choice we face is whether or not we want to form habits that get us what we want from life. If we do, then the focusing question is the most powerful success habit we can have. Now I'm going to reread that real quick, you guys, because I want us to get into the mode of receiving this information and really start thinking about this. Chapter 11, The Success Habit. You know about habits. They can be hard to break and hard to create, but we are unknowingly acquiring new ones all the time. When we start and continue a way of thinking or a way of acting over a long enough period, we've created a new habit. When I think of this, I think of things like binge eating. I think of habits such as smoking weed every day, which I do, and I'm trying to get off of that. There's a lot of habits that we create, good and bad. The choice we face is whether or not we want to form habits that get us what we want from life. If we do, then the focusing question is the most powerful success habit we can have. For me, the focusing question is a way of life. I use it to find my most leveraged priority, make the most out of my time, and get the biggest bang for my buck. Whenever the outcome absolutely matters, I ask it. I ask it when I wake up and start my day. I ask it when I get to work, and again when I get home. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? I'm going to repeat that one more time. The previous chapters have been talking about the one thing. And so the previous chapter, we're breaking down this sentence that I'm about to say to you right now. What is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary? I want you to really think about that. And when I know the answer, I continue to ask it until I can see the connections and all my dominoes are lined up. Obviously, you could drive yourself nuts analyzing every little aspect of everything you might do. I don't do that, and you shouldn't either. Start with the big stuff and see where it takes you. Over time, you'll develop your own sense of when to use the big picture question and when to use the small focus question. That's interesting. So let me reread that one more time, you guys. Obviously, you could drive yourself nuts analyzing every little aspect of everything you might do. I don't do that, and you shouldn't either. Start with the big stuff. Analyze the big stuff and see where it takes you. Over time, you'll develop your own sense of when to use the big picture question and when to use the small focus question. All right? The focusing question is the foundational habit I use to achieve extraordinary results and lead a big life. I use it for some things and not at all for others. I apply it to the important areas of my life, my spiritual life, physical health, personal life, key relationships, job, business, and financial life. And I address them in that order. Each one is a foundation for the next. That's interesting, real quick. I know a lot of us have different. I want you to think about that. Like, straight from the gate, Subtle Nation. Thank you so much, straight from the gate, Subtle Nation. I want you guys to think about this real quick, right? So he said, these are the important areas of your life that you need to start. You need to think about the big picture and then the small focus, right? So, big picture. What is your life going to be like? What do you want your life to be like? In the previous chapters, this book says that you need to think big. You have absolutely got to start thinking very big. If, let's say you were able to talk to God before you came down to earth, right? And let's say that he was like, you get to choose a level. You get to choose a level that you can reach. You can never exceed it. Would you choose a very high level or would you choose a lower level? Obviously, most of us would choose a higher level because we don't want to limit ourselves. But oftentimes, it's our own quote unquote lack of awareness and unconsciousness that limits ourselves, you guys. And so I'm reading this book because I want this book is fantastic, man. It's absolutely amazing. I know a lot of us don't have the time to read these books, and so I want to go ahead and do this because I'm gonna read it regardless. And so I thought, why not do this with y'all? You want to get a huge box. Think very big for your life. You know why? Because it may take a lifetime to reach the edges of those boxes, but you are always going to reach so much higher than if you were to reach low. But you guys already know that, right? So let's continue. He says, the focus in question is the foundational habit I use to achieve extraordinary results and lead a big life. I use it for some things and not at all for others. I apply it to the important areas of my life, my spiritual life, physical health, personal life, key relationships, job, business, and financial life. And I address them in that order. Each one is a foundation for the next. Very interesting he said that. Job is going to be a foundational. If you do good at your job, that's going to be a very foundational step for your business. I can agree with them on that. Make a tremendous amount of money at your job. You'll be able to funnel that cash into your business. Because I want my life to matter, I approach each area by doing what matters most in it. I view these as the cornerstones of my life, and I've found that when I'm doing what's most important in each area, my life feels like it's running on all cylinders. The focus in question can direct you to your one thing in the different areas of your life. Simply reframe the focus in question by inserting your area of focus. You can also include a time frame, such as right now or this year, to give your answer the appropriate level of immediacy, or in 5 years or someday, to find a big picture answer that points you at outcomes to aim for. Right? Here are some focusing questions to ask yourself. Say the category first, then state the question. Add a time frame and end by adding, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or necessary. For example, for my job, what's the one thing I can do to ensure I hit my goals this week, such that by doing that one thing, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? That's for your job. Here's an example for my spiritual life. What's the one thing I can do to help others? What's the one thing I can do to improve my relationship with God? For my physical health, what's the one thing I can do to achieve my diet goals? What's the one thing I can do to ensure that I exercise? What's the one thing I can do to relieve my stress? The idea of the one thing is to choose and focus on one thing, right? So that you're not spreading all of your resources, your attention on all these other things. And so when you focus on this one thing, it's going to make everything else so much easier. Whatever it is in your life that it looks like. I'll give you an example for me. My one thing is actually real estate. It's actually real estate. The reason why real estate is my one thing is because real estate affects everybody. Look at the rent prices. They're going up, man. They're going extremely high. I don't know how many times you guys have heard about stories of people that get mortgages, get houses, particularly the older generation, right? They get houses 10 years, 15 years later. They get out the house and go back to an apartment. Well, guess what? All that money you spent on mortgage, all that money you spent on your insurance and HOA fees, gone. Your next generation will never see any of that cash. You know what I mean? And so if you come into real estate with education, your life is going to be so much easier, man. You're not going to, that's my one thing, right? So, for my personal life, what's the one thing I can do to improve my skill at? What's the one thing I can do to find time for myself? Here's a little, here's the graph that goes with it too, real quick. All right? So as you can tell, it says, for my spiritual life, it says, for my finances, for my business, for my job, for any key relationships, for my personal life, for my physical health. And so what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to ask this question: what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary? And you use that same format and that question to access and give you solid answers for everything in your life for the most part. And so the idea is that you're able to pinpoint things to do. You know, you're not going to be lost anymore. This is a great way to kind of create your own compass. All right. So for my job, here's some more examples to ask at your job. What's the one thing I can do to ensure that I hit my goals? What's the one thing I can do to improve my skills? What is the one thing I can do to help my team succeed? What is the one thing I can do to further my career, for my business? What is the one thing I can do to make my business more competitive? Wow, what is the one thing you can do to make your business more competitive? I could think, how about do a little bit more research, right? And then once you've done a little bit more research, find out what separates you from everyone else, right? And focus on what these other companies are doing that makes them successful. What can you do to make your company more competitive? You know? What's the one thing I can do to make our product the best? What is the one thing I can do to make us more profitable? A lot of companies say, well, shit, we'll just let go of y'all. Bye. What is the one thing I can do to improve our customer experience? Now, for my finances, what is the one thing I can do to increase my net worth? What is the one thing I can do to improve my investment cash flow? What is the one thing I can do to eliminate my credit card debt? That was a lot. So here it is, the big ideas. We're going to wrap it all up here. So how do you make the one thing part of your daily routine? How do you make it strong enough to get extraordinary results at work and in other areas of your life? Here's a starter list, drawn from our experience and our work with others. Number 1, understand and believe it. The first step is to understand the concept of the one thing, then to believe that it can make a difference in your life. If you don't understand and believe, you won't take action. Number 2, use it. Ask yourself the focusing question. Start each day by asking, what is the one thing I can do today such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Now, when you do this, your direction will become clear. Your work will be more productive and your personal life will be much more rewarding. Number 3, make it a habit. When you make asking the focusing question a habit, remember, the focusing question is this: what is the one thing I can do today such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Make that a habit. When you make it a habit, you fully engage its power to get the extraordinary results you want. It's a difference maker. Research says this will take about 66 days. Whether it takes you a few weeks or a few months, stick with it until it becomes your routine. If you're not serious about learning the success habit, you're not serious about getting extraordinary results. Number 4, that's a huge one, you guys. That's a very huge one. I want you to think about that. Rewind it if you want to hear that again, man. That's a big one. Number 4, leverage reminders. Set up ways to remind yourself to use the focusing question. One of the best ways to do this is to put up a sign at work that says, until my one thing is done, everything else is a distraction. We designed the back cover of this book to be a trigger. Set it on the corner of your desk so that it's the first thing you see when you get to work. Really? No, you didn't. That boy capping. What? What did he say? What did it say? It said, We designed the back cover of this book to be a trigger. Set it on the corner of your desk so that it's the first thing you see when you get to work. This is what's on the back. Question mark. Actually, that's actually not a bad idea. Oh, it says, what's your one thing? So every time you're supposed to look at this book, it's going to remind you to ask yourself that question. What is the one thing you should be doing right now, right? Use notes, screensavers, and calendar cues to keep making the connection between the success habit and the results you seek. Put up reminders like the one thing equals extraordinary results, or the success habit will get me to my goal. Number 5, recruit support. Research shows that those around you can influence you tremendously. Starting a success support group with some of your work colleagues can help inspire all of you to practice the success habit every day. Get your family involved. Share your one thing. Get them on board. Use the focusing question around them to show them how the success habit can make a difference in their schoolwork, their personal achievements, or any other part of their lives. This one habit can become the foundation for many more, so keep your success habit working as powerfully as possible. Use the strategies outlined in Part 3, Extraordinary Results, for goal setting and time blocking to experience extraordinary results every day of your life. It's a great chapter, you guys. We got another chapter here. It says The Path to Great Answers is number 12. And so I'm definitely going to continue to read this. This book has absolutely been fantastic, you guys. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to start the entire book because, you know, it took a minute. But this book has absolutely changed my life so far, you guys. And I just want to remind y'all, I'm in the trenches with y'all, man. I don't got a tremendous amount of cash. I don't have any kind of, like, you know, loophole in any systems. I'm not part of any frat or anything like that. I'm in the trenches with y'all, man. I've just kind of, you know, found a way out per se, and so I'm here to tell y'all, man. I'm here with y'all, man. We gonna get this money. We gonna get the success the same way, man. I'm gonna keep doing this forever, for the most part, man. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Angst Vision, straight from the gate. Subtle Nation, man. I truly appreciate you guys even hitting the chat button. You know, I appreciate that. With that being said, man, also, yeah, check out the 100K video that I did. I made 100,000 last year, and if you want to make 100,000 too, let me know if that video is gonna help you out or not. I outlined how I made 100,000, and so I hope that can change some other people's lives. But anyways, man, it's your brother Trey, man. I'm out this